Pathmonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in the buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmonk to your website in seconds, letting the AI do all the work, and increase conversions while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to today's episode of Pathmonk Presents. Today we are joined by Katie. She's the head of brand experience at Goosechase. Katie, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rick.
Good to have you here. And we finally made this happen. People don't know this, but it was a long time coming. So, Katie, why don't we start with talking about a little bit about Goose Chase and maybe in your own words, what's the heart of what Goose Chase does, and how would you describe it to someone new?
Sure. Yeah. So Goosechase, we're kind of we always describe ourselves as a small startup that happens to have been around for 15 years. So we've been going at it for quite a while. We started at like a hackathon. Our CEO created an app to help people run scavenger hunts at a hackathon when he was in university. So that's kind of our origin story. And in the last 15 years, Goose Chase has grown from a scavenger hunt app to a tool that really helps people turn kind of any passive moment into experiences that people really remember and really want to participate in. So think scavenger hunts, but for kind of the modern digital world, and think any sort of boring thing that you have to do turned fun. So, onboarding at a new company, in-class lessons, mandatory team building. Um, you can use Goose Chase to kind of turn those events into interactive experiences that honestly people just go wild for. Like I've been at the company for 4 years now, and I'm still constantly surprised by how into a Goose Chase experience grown adults will get. So a
Mm,
lot of people like see Goose Chase and think it's for kids, and students and classrooms are kind of our biggest market. But watching a CEO run around an office building trying to do like air guitar to get points on their Goose Chase is incredible. It's the highlight of my
okay.
year, always.
Wow, wow. Okay, now that's pretty cool. And it's cool to know that, however many years, after 4 years, you're still
Mhm.
finding like new things or surprising ways that it's actually entertaining you guys and the people that use it. That's pretty cool. In a way that,
Yeah.
you're gamifying the experience of whatever mundane things people are going to do. Now, you mentioned there's, specifically, you have a big market in classrooms and students. Now, are
Mhm.
there any other businesses that or industries where you feel Goose Chase really shines? And maybe is there a problem that you think you help them solve more than anyone else?
Yeah, for sure. So classrooms is kind of our bread and butter, but and going back to like being surprised by our customers have really been the drivers of where Goose Chase went from there. So we had people use us kind of at their kids' schools who then were like, "Hey, I work at a museum. This using Goose Chase could really help drive foot traffic through different exhibits." So we're used in a lot of tourism institutions now, ski hills, national parks, that sort of thing, to drive people to explore um, parts of those locations that they haven't really explored before. So that's an interesting one. And then nonprofits have started using Goose Chase to run kind of fundraising events. I did a case study just last week with a teacher who ran a Goose Chase to drive a fundraising event. And it was kind of like we could do the same old bake sale, we could do the same old 50-50 raffle, but let's do something that people actually want to participate in. And it ended up driving way more funds than they even expected. So that's kind of another interesting one. And then I think
Mm,
the other sort of large group to highlight is large enterprises. So we're used by a lot of like people and culture teams and HR teams to drive employee onboarding programs, employee health and wellness programs, both kind of like gamifying them, but also just creating like interactive moments that people will remember. Like we talk a lot about like passive learning and active learning at Goosechase, and our big thing is we really want to drive active learning. It's like people don't remember slide decks, they remember experiences, they
mm.
remember having a laugh with their colleague about something, not just answering a, a multiple choice question or whatever it is. So yeah, those are kind of, I mean, honestly, one of our hardest like marketing problems at Goosechase is that it can be used by so many different industries and so many different people. So like focus is always our biggest challenge. But I think those are kind of the biggest ones to highlight today for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a double-edged sword, right? It's kind of
Hmm.
like the all-in-one platform for X, and it's
Yeah.
that 4X typically, you niche down, or however you want to say it.
Yeah.
And that's great, but at the same time, there are some use cases that actually, it works for most, and then you got to play with it, and maybe that's your strength, and there's a way in the messaging potentially that makes you stand out, right?
Hmm.
But I'm interested also, because you mentioned, the nonprofit organizations, the large enterprises. Who typically within those companies, you mentioned the HR teams in there, but is there like, I guess in a way I'm going towards the ICP side
Hmm.
of, conversation, getting the marketing lingo out, of course, but
Of course.
who's actually reaching out to you guys or trying to discover a tool like Goosechase in those companies? Do you have a specific persona or, how does that work?
Yeah, yeah. And I'd say the person who reaches out to us across all of the industries, the person who reaches out to us is usually not the person who's making the buying decision, which I think is standard for a lot of B2B. But in like the K-12 space, we have a lot of teachers reaching out to us, and then they need to go convince their principal or their district to to decide they want to move forward with Goosechase. Large enterprises, it's often like the person running the learning and development programs or the person running the onboarding programs that then needs to go get sign off from sometimes depends on the organization, but sometimes they bring the CIO, the CTO, the tech people in. Sometimes it just goes up to their heads of. But yeah, it's often we often have very, very vocal champions of Goosechase. And those are the ones that are actually creating the experiences and running the experiences and see the magic of the experience. And then just they're not usually the ones that hold the wallets. So we usually have to talk to a few different people.
Of course, yeah, yeah, different steps in there, but I'm
Mhm.
sure, you have your ways to do that. Now, is there any marketing channel that has become your go-to for bringing in more of those people that eventually go into your funnel, and then, you're able to, I guess, speak to them or start a trial? If you can, give us a glimpse into how that works for you guys, whether it's the website or word of mouth or a mix of everything, really.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, so I'd say we're pretty lucky in the sense that we're a totally inbound business. Our greatest kind of acquisition channel is the product itself. So and kind of I
Love
alluded to
that.
it before, but we've got, if you're a parent that is participating at a goose chase run by the PTA at your kid's school, and you think, hey, I could use this in my own business. Honestly, that's where the majority of our leads come from. It's participants in a goose chase somewhere else that kind of sees the spark and sees that they can use it in their own world. So oftentimes when leads come to us, they've already experienced it as a participant, which is which makes that discussion so much more fun and a lot
Mm.
easier. So I think huge hat tip to our product team who have done a massive amount of work in the last couple of years, especially to really make the product just kind of sing. Um, And then I think obviously then the next step of that is, people participate in the product, and then where do they go next? They come to our website. So our website is the other kind of huge pillar in our marketing strategy. And we've been doing a lot of work on the website. There's like definitely
Mm.
there's work to be done on the website for sure, in terms of conversion, in terms of making sure people are getting the right content at the right time. So I think right now the website looks amazing, but I think to be perfectly transparent, I think it could probably work a lot harder for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's any marketer's,
Yeah.
goal to just have the perfect website
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
and also how it works with the brand experience, right? So it's in brand, like how what's the experience like, right, when you
Hmm.
go to the website? Is there anything from your experience that that actually makes a website convert? Because I know, you have, extensive experience with this, and maybe I don't know if you can touch on any, let's say, tool, any tactic, if you will, like even little tricks or even frameworks, right? Talking about things that
Hmm.
actually work and you can apply to conversion. Anything you can share with us that you've seen works for you guys or in general?
Hmm. Yeah, there's kind of like two ethos or principles that I think kind of make a good website. And one is, and we say this a lot internally, but this notion of like, show me, don't tell me, like, don't tell me how great your product is, just show me. So being able to have people come to the website and see what a Goose Chase experience is like. So whether it's having like a really easy to access demo or maybe a sample experience or whatever it is, where people can, they don't just want to hear us talk about how great it is. They don't even often want to hear how great, other customers talk about how great it is. They just want to experience for themselves. So we try to do that with everything we do. It's less talk and more show. And then the other kind of things that I think probably apply to all websites um, is this balance of emotion and ease of use. So I think if your website can inspire someone to feel something and you make it really, really simple to act on that inspiration, then you've crushed it, right? So I think what a lot of companies do, ours maybe included, is overcomplicate things, So I think we're pretty good at the emotion side. I think we're pretty good at inspiring, but then it's like just make it as easy as possible for that person to be, hey, I'm really excited about this. I want to click and I want to get in. I want to click, I want to pay, I want to get in, whatever it is. I don't want to have to look at a confusing pricing page to figure out exactly what the right plan is for me. Just make it easy. Um, and then I guess the last thing would be just to test everything. So test,
Mm.
test, test. But yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that view. Just the experience is essential, right? Especially if you generate an emotion. I really like that take. But of course, just keep it simple, make it easy for people to
Hmm.
actually reach their goal. Because then
Hmm.
it's easy. It's so easy to turn a positive emotion to into a negative one. But
Yeah.
if you don't do that, so keep that wave going in a way. So.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think that's a smart take. Now, I want to switch gears for a second,
Hmm.
Katie, and maybe talk about you, right? What's a typical work day look like for you, and what are the main things you focus on a day to day? If you could give us an idea of, a day in the life of Katie.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're a really small team, kind of by design. So I wear a ton of different hats. So I'm we're doing a lot of work in SEO and GEO at the moment. We're redesigning all of our email campaigns at the moment. We're currently working on conversion rate optimization on our website. So we're doing a lot of work there. One of the nice things about Goosechase, from a working perspective, is we've really done a good job of kind of de-siloing the company. So product and marketing really work kind of in step together, which is really nice. So it's as much as kind of the marketing team is driving a lot of like the conversion activities and a lot of the acquisition activities, product is right there to support and feed in and help with everything. So that's been amazing. I'd say the other big thing, like personally, is, I just got back from mat leave a couple months ago. So part of what I'm doing in my day to day is just like catching up on all the amazing progress that the team has made while I was gone and figuring out how to amplify that progress, not get in anyone's way. Um, but then also, I was on mat leave for just over a year, Canadian company.
Mhm.
But the entire like digital search landscape changed in that year. When I left, people were using AI to like maybe write a blog or two. When I came back, people are using AI to search everything. So another big thing
Mhm.
in my day to day is catching up on how people are using the internet now, how AI is impacting marketing, and it's incredibly exciting. It's a bit overwhelming, but yeah, it's like figuring out how do we like do this right, kind of like trying to like learn from the early Wild West days of SEO, but not make those same mistakes. And I don't know, it's an exciting time, I think, right now for marketing for sure.
Absolutely. And you make a great point. Even internally, we just talk about how quickly things are moving. Like AI is replacing web search
Yeah.
in a way. Just the cost of ads is insane these days. So a
Yep.
lot of things that actually increasing, per quarter, like exponentially, right? Just the
Yeah.
rate of that speed of change, right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy to navigate. I'm sure, especially after being out for a while, right? So just
I
gotten
know.
back to a whole new world and things move quickly. But um, speaking of moving quickly, we're getting towards the end of our time together, Katie. I would love us to jump into our rapid fire segment of the podcast, if you don't mind. So
Okay.
just a
Mhm.
few questions, rapid fire style, where I think we'll keep it interesting. But if you don't mind, we'll go into it and then you'll see what it's like. Is that okay?
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, sweet. When it comes to content, do you prefer watching, reading, or listening?
Listening. I'm a big podcast gal.
Okay, okay, good. So, what's the latest piece of content? It could be a podcast, of course, or a clip, or on social media, or whatever that you listen to. And was there anything that really caught your attention there?
Yeah, actually there was it was a video, so I watched and listened from Spark Toro that hit my inbox this week, and it was really talking about this notion of um that the marketing funnel doesn't exist anymore, which I think is something we've chatted about for a while, but that they're kind of rebranding the journey as this marketing pinball machine, which I really liked, where users kind of come in and bounce around and there's no linear path. And what can we do to optimize for this kind of chaotic, this new chaotic world we're in? So yeah, that was one I really liked.
Okay, okay, that's a good one. If you had a magic wand and you could fix one frustrating thing in your life with tech, especially if it relates to marketing, what would you pick?
Um, oh, reporting everything we do with total accuracy. That would be my dream. Not just paid ads, not just the easy stuff to report on. Tell me from a podcast how many customers we got. Tell me from, ooh, and then to build on that, I'd also love a measurement tool that accurately measured kind of the emotional impact of our marketing, not just clicks and purchases. Um, yeah. Tell me
Yeah.
how, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. That's a good one. I'm sure many marketers will actually relate to this one for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's one repetitive task, one mundane task that you love to put on autopilot forever?
Mm, yeah, I'd say any sort of Uh, Formatting or reporting, formatting or cleaning data. These are things that I do not want to ever do again.
Fair enough. I get it. Okay, Katie, again, I want to thank you for being on the show with us today. As we wrap things up, I also want to give you the last word. So, if someone forgets everything about the interview today, whatever we talked about, what is the one thing that they should remember about the work you guys are doing at Goosechase?
Yeah, I'd say if there's one thing to take away, whether you're a marketer, educator, event planner, leader, is when running events, when running experiences, when running training, don't just tell people what you want them to know. Do something that creates something that they can participate in and that they'll remember and engage in. So great
Okay, good.
experiences.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. Now, Katie, if someone wants to check you guys out and see what what the experiences are like, and maybe they're curious, where could they go?
Yeah, the website is our front door. Please come. Give us any feedback on how we can improve it. But yeah, goosechase.com is the best place.
Perfect. All right, Katie, as I said, great conversation. I really appreciate your insights, and I wish you the best of luck in navigating this whole new world of AI and
Thank you.
rapid changing, and I know it's hard even for people that have been in it for the whole time. So you're not going crazy. We all are. So
Perfect.
thank you again, Katie, and I wish you a wonderful day.
Amazing. Thanks, Rick. Bye.
All right, thank you, everybody. Bye.